we left in between Christmas and New Year's from our visit, did you come to any resolution about the parking?
Since my last email to you, we have continued to work on it. I know we left it off where I said I had talked to the chief of police, the borough manager, the public safety committee, and we were working towards a compromise that would work for all parties. We were unable to come to an agreement at this time for something where all parties could agree, so we're still working on a legal version. What I mean by that is, I can't speak for everybody else. Council is still looking through what can we legally allow in that space. If the bylaw would allow some type of parking in that area, but we have to still get together once more as a public safety committee. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. We have to get together one more time as a committee to see if this is something we can legally allow. Until that time, when we've decided that, I know we have had the highway department coming through. They have been plowing and salting the area, but I'm hoping to be able to reach a resolution by, it would be my intent by workshop. I was hoping to be able to find a resolution by tonight, but we continue to discuss as we're not all parties are not yet on the same page. So we're looking, council is going to move forward with the decision from our part, and we just want to make sure that everything we decide is legal.
Okay, I want to share something with you. Are you aware that that is an easement of right-of-way across the Franz and Weber property?
To my knowledge, I did have it listed. I had a construction plan. I'm trying to think of what it was deemed as. I wonder if, Mr. Catania, if you could correct me. I know it was originally put there for storm drainage, I believe.
It was for an open waterway and a proposed park.
Mm-hmm. And that was back in 1956, I believe.
1955, 56, exactly. It's not a street, it's not a thoroughfare, it's not a lane, it's not an alley. It's an easement, meaning property was eased up for the right-of-way to ingress and egress the proposed park. Mm-hmm. You follow me so far? It's split. Once that is established, there are two holders in the easement. The dominant estate belongs to the borough. They have the right to ingress and egress that park. But they do not have the right to possess or own a piece of land that is burdened by the easement of right-of-way. The Servian estate, which is Mrs. DeFranz and myself, we are entitled to full ownership and possession of the land. We cannot interfere with the right-of-way by planting trees, building houses, building an addition, building a fence, putting a locked gate. We can't do those things, but we can park there. And it's not blocking. Barring us from parking there constitutes a statute of fraud under the easement of right-of-way. Okay? Oh, God. I hate being on this side. The easement you have with the lot owners is an easement of necessity because you are landlocked back there. That's why it was originally made. General Steel was there at the time, Baldwin Locomotive, Stewart Avenue. You had no access to that property once that development went in. That's why they made that an easement of right-of-way, the builders of that property. Bear with me, please.
Take your time.
Once an easement is established, it can't be changed in any way or form. The only thing that establishes that you can go back and maintain your park. That's it. Foot traffic for public and maintenance of that park. That is still private property. There should be no signage on there regulating parking for us because it's our driveway. It's private property. The holder of the easement, which is you folks, you have the right to maintain the easement for the stated purpose that it was designed. You can make improvements as long as it doesn't interfere with our personal property. That improvement that you see today was done by Mr. Catania because the drainage pipe collapsed. That is the only drainage for that whole development. All that water has to run through there to an open storm drain. The road washed out and the pipe collapsed and we had sinkhole. At that time, I had my mother-in-law living with me, and they would refuse to drop her off in the wheelchair because I couldn't provide safe passage down that road. Mr. Catania came out, observed the situation. That whole thing was excavated. New pipe was put in, and that's how it got paved. Other than that, it would still be in the condition that it was before, which was washed out. The no parking sign, there's no ordinance for it, is there?
To my knowledge, that's what we're working on. So far,
And even if there is, it's a violation because you're putting a parking sign on private property. The sign should read, "This is a private roadway. Use the road by permission and may be revoked at any time by the owners." There's only certain things you're allowed to do to come through there. Secondly, you cannot give third party a right to use that. It is only for the express usage of the borough to maintain the pipe and the waterway. And I've done a lot of browbeating for once. Thank you for bearing with me, but that's as it stands. Now, as of tonight, I am parking there. That is my private driveway. I have never barred anybody, neither have the owners, for 60 years. 60 years. Now you're telling me all of a sudden there's a problem and I can't park there.
well, I'd like to respond to that. I just wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to conclude everything you had prepared. Okay. We're not on differing pages to an extent of what you're stating here. I understand that you have been parking there for, well, at least
38 years
at least since I was born and I can remember, so at least 28 of them I can remember. But I do understand, and you said yourself, that one of the purposes we do need that for, and one of the concerns we were looking at, is making sure that public safety vehicles had access if they needed to get through.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, if everybody could just listen, so I make sure everybody hears what I'm saying the same way here. So I understand, and I know that you acknowledge that too, and that the parking, and that's what we were looking at, and that was what my intent was. I can't speak for anybody else, but that is what I was working towards, was to allow continued parking in that space where we can still assure that emergency vehicles can fit through and access, and that's my goal, that is my intent. I don't disagree with you. My reservation, while I'm not sitting here tonight and saying, yes, we can park there, is because I haven't finished working with the team on the legal aspects, and I can't advise. It would just be irresponsible if I advised anybody of anything that wasn't legally sound. And as of right now, I have conflicting information of whether or not I can tell you can park there right now. It's my hope that you will be able to continue to park there. That is my goal. That is my hope. But as of now, the way it stands, is the police department's stance that there is no parking there. I wouldn't advise you to park there at this time, just because we haven't reached an agreement on that. Now it's you.
Holly, can I?
Yeah.
Ernie's got to finish the legal given the information he's provided, I can't make a determination. I haven't seen it, but my suggestion would be, I would leave it status quo. I mean, if it is private property, that can be easily determined based on the deed. My advice would be to allow them to park there until it's determined otherwise. So, until we can see it, it's just a matter of a status quo issue. Until I can tell you one way or the other, you don't want any mandamus actions brought up to enforce it. So why don't we take a review of it? This is new information to me. It's the first time that I've heard of it. So let's take a look. If it is in fact an easement, and it is on your deed, we can discuss that. That can come up. In the meantime, if somebody can talk to Charles and get me a copy of the deed and how the easement actually is set place down there.
It was submitted.
Take a look at it.
Charles did that project.
But I wouldn't take any action to prevent it yet until we're now.
Okay, very good.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thanks, Mr. Weber.